Hey guys, so today I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk to you about sleep. Sleep being the foundation really of everything that we do. It underpins all of your efforts, and if you're not getting enough of it, like most of us aren't, it can really just make your day that much harder. You're kind of fighting uphill to get where you want to go. It will underpin your physical performance, cognitive performance, ability to be able to make good decisions, and just generally the energy that you have throughout the day to complete your tasks. You all know, you've been there before. If you have a good night's sleep, the day ahead just seems so much easier. Where on the flip side of that, if you don't get enough, everything is just a struggle. So today I wanted to share with you a few things that I've embarked on in my own journey to improving my sleep. And it's not been an easy one, but certainly there have been huge breakthroughs that I've made, and some of the things that I do regularly with my clients in my program, because it's such an important thing that it just shouldn't be overlooked, but it often is. In an ideal world, we'd all be getting 8 hours sleep. Now I know that that is probably far away from the reality of what you're experiencing now, but it's certainly something to strive towards. But not only do we want that 8 hours of sleep, ideally, we're going to be looking at the quality of sleep that we get. And I know a lot of people that I talk to struggle with this, that they might get to sleep, but then they struggle staying asleep, or they wake up and they've got ideas rattling around in their head. So there's a few things that we can do to combat that. One of the biggest things that I did was just setting up a routine of sleep. So trying to go to sleep at the same time each night and aim to wake up at the same time each morning. Now, obviously there are caveats to that. You know, if you've got something going on the weekend, it may throw you off a little bit. But I think the important thing to remember with this is, like any routine, is that when you have deviations from that plan, is to, as quickly as possible, just get back to what you were doing before. So re-establish your routine as quickly as you possibly can. One of the big things that made a change in my sleep patterns was the routine of what I did going to bed. So I stopped looking at my phone at least an hour before I started to go to bed, and it really revolutionized everything. Because before, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is that I'd spend time looking through social media, reading the news, watching videos on YouTube, whatever it might have been, but it really wasn't helping me get to sleep. If anything, it was just putting ideas in my head, which was giving me more things to think about when I went to bed. So I started taking my phone out of the equation before I went to bed and just putting it to the side, spending time doing other things. Reading is a really great thing to help you kind of just take your mind away from the things that you've been doing in the day. Unfortunately, it's something that I struggle with in the evening because my wife doesn't like to have the light on. Now, for a lot of my clients, reading is perfect, and I definitely would suggest if it works for you. I've switched that out now for listening to either an ebook or actually white noise. And there's an app I use for white noise and or sleep stories called Calm. It's free to try, and I would definitely suggest it for anyone who's struggling to get to sleep. It's been a big thing for us in our house. But I also recently purchased some low profile headphones which don't go into the ear canal. It's actually a band. It looks a bit stupid, but you're in bed, so it doesn't really matter. But it just sits over my ears and means that I can listen to whatever I want to listen to without disturbing my wife's sleep. And not disturbing your wife's sleep is a good thing just for your general life and well-being. So do your best around that. But for me, it's really revolutionized my sleeping. So now I can listen to whatever I want to, whether it be white noise, a sleep story, or an audiobook. I do suggest going for fiction. Try and stick to something that's away from your day-to-day thing. So, you know, whatever your type of work is, don't listen to something that's industry specific, because it's just going to fuel your thoughts before you're going to bed. Fiction is definitely key. One of the other major things that I do before bed is just setting up my day for the next day before I do that. Now, I know a lot of people talk about writing things down in a pad next to their bed. A number of my clients have had great success with that. But for me personally, I like to set everything up in my diary. So I set up my tasks in my diary for what I need to do the next day, and that works for me. Just getting rid of the thoughts and the things that need to be done, the tasks for the next day, set them out. You know that they're set. You no longer need to pay those any attention in your mind. You can go to sleep restfully. Another thing that I found works massively for me is setting up your environment. So making sure that there aren't things that are going to distract you or detract from you having a good night's sleep. Making sure that the room's dark, that you've got the right temperature that's set for you. Some people like a slightly warmer room, some people like a cooler room, but this is something that you should experiment with to find out what works best for you. There you go. So there's a number of things there that you can play with and experiment with, which is certainly something that I do suggest. One solution isn't going to work for everyone, but play with them, see what works well for you. Some of those things in there have had a huge positive effect on my sleep, and a number of them have worked with my clients too. And it really is about testing things, seeing what the result is, retesting different things, finding out what works for you. I hope some of these things offered some insight to you, and comment below, let me know if you've got any questions or if you've got some suggestions for things that I could try with my sleep and things that I could in turn then perhaps try with my clients as well. Thanks so much, guys. See you soon.